Welcome back, it's me Lou, and I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review. And today we are looking at something different and something special. And this is not an action figure you could buy at retail. It is my custom G.I. Joe Classified Series Cobra Emperor Serpentor. Yes, it's Serpentor in his action figure 6-inch goodness. So, as I've stated before with some of my G.I. Joe Classified custom videos, so back in March or April of 2020, when Hasbro dropped the first wave of G.I. Joe Classified action figures, like many of you, I was dancing in the streets, I was excited, but then that excitement came to an immediate halt when I realized I only had a handful of 6-inch G.I. Joe figures, and it wasn't made clear on when they were going to give us more. And then it wasn't that much later when we learned that Target was going to get some exclusives, which were impossible to find. And at that moment, I don't know, I was this jonesing for more of these 6-inch Joe figures, and I told myself, if Hasbro's not going to give me the characters I want right away, I don't want to wait a year or two until I get certain characters. I'm like, in the meantime, I'll just, to the best of my abilities, make my own customs, just so I can have something to display with the rest of my G.I. Joe Classified figures. And one character I really wanted was Serpentor. I love the look of Serpentor. I think he's a really cool character. There's something about him. He just deviates so far from the rest of the G.I. Joe characters. He doesn't look like a standard military grade character. He has I don't know, very Romanesque kind of features. He's almost gladiatorial and I don't know, the fact that he's a Cobra Emperor is this, I don't know, that just excites me and to no end. It's an awesome character. So I'm like, okay, let's make a custom Serpentor, and here we are. Okay. So part of my inspiration for making this character was a re-release or a redesigned issue of the original character. So this is a Serpentor action figure. It was released many years ago. It was part of, I believe, a G.I. Joe 2-pack that came with a comic book. And with those G.I. Joe comic book 2-packs that released back in the day, they featured reissued molds of the original characters, but they'd have new paint applications. But they would also have some new enhancements, like maybe a new head sculpt or new accessories. And this was the Serpentor we got. He wasn't as much gold as the previous OG figure. This one was a lot more green, and it was just more comic book based. But I always enjoyed this figure a lot. I thought it was always really cool. And I told myself that if once the G.I. Joe Classified series came out, I'm like, I really want Serpentor. So the big question was, okay, let's make Serpentor. What are we going to use for the base body? Alright, so this is not perfect by any means. I realize that. Some of you are going to be looking at this and go, hey, it doesn't look perfect. It needs more gold. This is wrong. That's wrong. I don't care. Alright, so for me, I just needed a place. This is a placeholder until an official one comes out. Just so that on my display wall of G.I. Joe Classified figures, right in front of Cobra Commander, I need a Serpentor. I need a Serpentor figure just to annoy the hell out of Cobra Commander. Just so he puts Cobra Commander in his place. And that's where this guy comes in. So for the base body, one thing I use, the main body is actually a Power Rangers Lightning Collection Goldar figure. And it works kinda, just because the figure is mostly gold. And Goldar's costume is a very lavish looking armor to begin with. And when I think of gold and when you think of lavish, I think of Serpentor. So I'm like, okay, let's just use Goldar as the body. I know I didn't repaint everything, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's first talk about the package. So for me, part of the customizing experience, especially with these G.I. Joe Classifieds, is that I don't only want a custom figure, I want a custom box, just so it feels like the entire action figure experience. And when I say the entire action figure experience, I mean the feel of like seeing a new action figure on the shelves and seeing the box and seeing the character artwork. I really wanted to recreate that. So to the best of my ability, I wanted this to look very stock. Like if you saw this on the shelves, you wouldn't think twice. You'd go, "Oh my God, that's Serpentor." You know, you have the character portrait. You can kind of see his accessories. So I kind of wanted to recreate that feel, and that's why I always do custom boxes with a lot of my figures, because I want it to feel like the whole figure experience, not just the custom figure itself. I want the whole package. It's almost kind of like I want the retail experience of the whole thing. So I went ahead and made this custom box. There's a really cool. I did a Google image search for a Serpentor, and one of the cool images that popped up, it was for a sideshow collectible statue of Serpentor that was produced by Prime One Studios, and this is their statue. I thought it looks really cool. It's a much more realistic take on Serpentor. I love his face and his gritted teeth. It's really awesome. And there's more of that statue image on the side of the spine. So I pretty much printed this out on adhesive paper, sized it out, and just slapped it over whatever was the original box art. Same with here. Adhesive paper, printed it out, slapped it on the spine. Gave him his own title at the bottom, Cobra Emperor Serpentor. And it just feels more like a stock thing. The nice thing with these G.I. Joe Classifieds is I don't have to worry about customizing the back, because you just get this crazy image. There's no bio. And over here, I kind of made it generic. I know if you go to the website, there's that thing that deciphers all the different ranking and perks and power-up doodads that they show here, but I just wanted to look generic, so I made my own custom spine where it just kind of lines up here, and it says Cobra, and it's the enemy with the logo. And I used the actual so the tray that holds the figure is actually Goldar's tray from the Power Rangers Lightning Collection line. Nothing's changed with that. It has the sword still, the energy effect, and the extra hands. And let's take out the figure. So I'm not going to remove the figure from the tray because, in all honesty, it's a pain in the butt to like put back in. So I have to be like careful with this. Alright, so here is my custom G.I. Joe Classified Serpentor action figure. As I stated previously, so the base body is a Power Rangers Goldar action figure. I refrained from painting the red parts gold just because, for one, I'm super lazy, and two, I hate joint rub. Joint rub is when you customize an action figure and you repaint certain parts, and the minute you start moving the parts around, the paint starts rubbing off because the joints or the pieces might be too tightly fit, and then, I don't know, it becomes a mess. One of the ways to avoid joint rub is to disassemble a figure and then sand the pieces down just so there's wider gaps where the moving parts are so the paint doesn't rub. But I didn't want to go that far because I knew ahead of time that this was only going to strictly be a display piece. I wasn't going to use it for like fig photography or fiddle around with it. I just wanted to throw this back in the box and hang it on the wall just so it could like be prominently displayed with the rest of my Joes. I knew I wanted to change up the original Goldar costume just a little bit so it didn't look like it was a complete blatant ripoff. So this figure here, the comic book one, there's a lot of green in the costume. So I'm like, you know what, let's just accent this costume with some green. I added some green to the shoulder pads, green to the torso, the crotch area, the gauntlets, add some green, on the knees and the feet, just so it'd break it up a little, and it wouldn't look as Goldar-ish. And to also avoid it looking too much like the Goldar figure, this is where I kind of deviated from the original Serpentor design. I decided, like, instead just give him flesh biceps, just so you can see the open parts of his arm. And those are just Marvel Legends biceps. It's not a perfect fit. There's a slight gap, and sometimes they kind of get a little loosey-goosey, but I don't mind. Like I said, this doesn't need to be perfect for me. This needs to be a display piece. For his cape, it's just a green piece of thin foam. It's not super detailed, and you're not going to know any better just because you're never going to see the back of it. The back of the headpiece is actually, it's just glossy paper, double-sided, printed, and with a kind of like a snake cobra texture on it. I could have made a real one, but it's like I said, I'm just lazy. I just need a placeholder figure until they give me the official one. The head I thought was a good fit, just because there aren't too many action figures where you find a head and there's like a cobra, you know, or snake head that surrounds it like a helmet. And the perfect figure for that is a Marvel Legends Forces of Evil Cottonmouth from the Serpent Society. It's a perfect head. I might have had to make some modifications to the socket so it fit properly, but beyond that, I just had to repaint it. I have a nice metallic gold paint at home that has a beautiful luster to it. The camera's not picking it up that well just because the brightness, and it's not as sharp as I'd like. But it's alright. Repainted that. I love the smile on this because it kind of reminds me of the Prime 1 Studios. How this one has his teeth gritted, and then this one you can actually see his teeth. So there's some semblance in it. There's some flow to it. So yeah, this is my custom Serpentor figure. It's not perfect, so don't go in the comments saying this thing is ugly, it doesn't look right or whatever. It's not perfect. It's just a placeholder. You know, in my head, I just need a figure of Serpentor just to kind of like round out my elite command of Cobra characters. You know, I have a Destro, I have a custom Baroness, I have the Cobra Commander. Major Blood, don't even bring him up. I'll probably never find that figure. It's impossible to find. I know that Hasbro just re-released more of them, but I'm sure that's sold out by now too. But I just needed Serpentor. I need Serpentor. And hopefully down the road they'll give us the twins. I really want the twins, but if they don't give us the twins, I might have to resort and try making bootleg ones. So, I don't know, I'm probably speaking a million miles an hour right now, but I just wanted to share this with you real quick before moving on. So yeah, this is my custom G.I. Joe Classified Series Serpentor action figure. Hopefully in the near future Hasbro will grace us with an official one, but in the meantime, this is a display piece that I'll probably display on my wall to line out my Cobra roster. So, once again, my name is Lou. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I greatly appreciate it. Feel free to drop by anytime. Take care.